y'all. It's season 3 of the Be Your Own Kind podcast, and we humbly thank you for tuning in. Be Your Own Kind's mantra is there is never an inopportune time to be yourself. In other words, be you without apologies. In this season, I will be presenting nuggets and interviewing individuals that are creating their lane and rocking it. Be sure to check out the featured businesses in the description box and follow us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and pretty much every platform. Okay, now let's take flight. Well, hello, Queen. How are you doing?
Hello, and how are you? I'm good.
Doing great, doing great. I'm doing good. And when I call her Queen, I really mean that. We were just talking about her winning the state pageant.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Yes. If you don't know, we reside in Indiana. So she won in the state of Indiana. So what's the next step?
The next step, first of all, I am Hoosier State Woman, American Beauty Plus 2021-22. So now I head to Roswell, Georgia, April 6th through the 9th to compete for my division national title.
I'm excited for you. Is it going to be televised or virtual?
I'm not for sure right now how they're going to be doing it. I know right now you're able to have people there. I know a lot of things has been going virtual, so we will keep everyone updated if they do decide to go virtual.
Okay.
I believe last year was it wasn't, due to COVID wasn't happening. But the actual year before that, no, I'm sorry, last year it was virtual because of the COVID. So this year they're going to try to do it in person. So hopefully everybody can be able to be there. And if not, we'll keep everyone posted.
Okay. I follow you. I try to keep updated. Try to keep updated through the Facebook.
Right. And I'm trying to keep myself updated as well.
So you're also a mental health counselor too, though.
Yes, ma'am. I'm also a mental health counselor, and I utilize my mental health as part of my pageant as well. So I include that in my pageant platform. We all have to have a platform, so I don't have to search for one. I am my platform because I believe in mental health, and I believe it is literally very valuable for us to understand, aware, and know about the risk of mental health, and everyone has it. I often tell people that because it's only take one life event to change your mind frame, to change your heart, to change, and not be normal mentally. And what you think mentally is what you become. So I also utilize that as part of my platform.
Right, and they're saying that there was an increase in depression during the pandemic, but I feel like because we were able to shut down, I think it was just more of an awareness. I think people were already dealing with it, but they were, going about the hustle and bustle of their day that they didn't recognize it until they were made to sit down.
Exactly. And some people that is not normal to made sit down, that's where their depression come in, because they're so used to up and moving around and doing stuff and not knowing what to do and having to sit down. That became like, okay, what am I gonna do? What's gonna happen? So that gets your mind to get the racing and to get to thinking, and anxiety comes along with that. A lot of people have developed anxiety over the pandemic only because they can't move, because they're so used to going.
Right. Then there's people that are extroverts. I know a lot of my extroverted friends, I had to check on them because they weren't doing too well. And just people like me who likes to have an idea to control a situation. I've learned to just say forget it now after 2 years because everything's so unpredictable now. But I feel like that's kind of a cool new thing because it does lessen anxiety to not always worry about the future or your plans. Like if they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. So I don't know. Yeah. So that works for me. And you're also, listeners, she does everything. You're also an advocate for ovarian cancer. Is there anything personal for you to why you are doing it?
Yes, I'm actually 2.5 years in remission. I'm coming up on my 3rd year of being an ovarian cancer survivor, and also I utilize that. So that's where the IC Lynn come in from, because I am and I'm Connie Lynn. So I use the teal color, I use the green color for the ovarian cancer and mental health awareness to actually spread awareness, because I hold a BRCA cell gene with this a malmutation dealing with the genes chromosome that you're born with. And I didn't know anything about it, unfortunately, until I became dealing with the diagnosis of ovarian cancer. And I'm not like the one that, oh, okay, this is what I got, let's do what we need to do. No, I wanted to know honestly where it came from, because dealing with my family history, pretty much all of my uncles except for two, and majority of my aunties except for one passed away from cancer. So it's like, okay, where did it come from? You know, and I have a couple cousins who dealt with it, a couple cousins who passed away from it. So, and then my own father. Then, so I ended up finding out that through, unfortunately, not to gross anybody out, but through saliva. I had to literally take this cup, and no matter, it took me like literally 2.5 hours to put saliva in this cup, and that's where they actually came up with the cell from. And it became from my mother. So it's very passionate to me because I had to deal with it for 5 long years.
Oh my.
I tell anybody, I'm not a person that you can just say, hey, this is what we think we're gonna do. No, let's figure out, because I'm a mother and I have two kids that I live and press for daily, and I had to take it seriously. So when they tell you I was Ike and Tina with my doctors, I was Ike and Tina, because we was going back and forth, because I did not just want to sit up here and lose a battle within itself, and something else can be done. That's why I'm so much of an advocate to other women and people general, you know. And if you have a family history, please let your family know what your family history is. We go to the doctor and we ask the culture people, we have a tendency to put no, 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 no down that line when it comes to family history, that honestly it could save someone else's life. If it's not yours, we still got kids we gotta live for.
You're right. You're right. I do not take that serious. So you're right.
We don't. So we
You're
haven't.
like, no.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, so I'm very much an advocate on it, because um, dealing with the pros and the cons of it with the government and with natural healing, it's a battle. It's a battle in itself. So because you have the chemo drugs or the chemo medicine, that whether it's the pill or the IV form, to help, but it's also harming because it's feeding off something else while it's trying to sit and help something else. So you have to keep your immune system literally intact and stay healthy, y'all. Stay healthy, because that is like number one.
So, a quick question. So, did your experience with cancer, did that catapult or spark your interest in pageantry? Like, I'm wondering, how did you get into that?
Actually, I used to do pageantry when I was smaller.
Okay.
And due to my mother's mental health, and that's how I got into mental health, because my mother dealt with it and I had to deal with it along with it. So I had to stop a lot of my things that I had to do as a child growing up, because I had to quickly be my mother's advocate at a young age. So when I actually became older and I actually thought it was literally still out there and for adults, I was like, okay, so that kind of, sparked me into it. Then I found that it's an actual plus size pageant just for plus size women, and I'm a plus size advocate. So I was like, okay, let's go. And then, of course, having the mental health background and wanting to utilize my big mouth for something other than just singing, I wanted to help other people, because I've dealt with the personal side of mental health, when people really don't understand, when people always label them as, oh, they're crazy or something like that, and and dealing with the health side. So I just put them all together, and while I magic, this is literally what I utilize it for.
Nice. And I mean, it all goes hand in hand. You're empowering no matter what you're doing. Like, all of your hats are empowering someone else. So I think that's pretty dope. And how do you manage all of this though? Like, when do you find time to like pencil in self care? Like, how do you manage these hats and that?
Ooh, one, I'm learning like now dealing with the national. I need assistant because actually doing it all by myself, it is a handful. But I actually take pretty much Sundays and Mondays I try not to do too much volunteer work on Sundays because, of course, I worship God on Sundays in the house, if we're able to, if not virtual. And I take that Monday as a D&D day. Like, I literally shut down because I consider that, even though it's first part of the week for me, I want to get my mind together for what lies ahead. So, I take that Sunday to pretty much have a family day, and then that Monday for me day. Um, because everybody needs it. And I tell everybody it's only take one day to have that self-care. You have to make yourself do that. And some people may do it in the middle of the week. Some people may do it at the end of the week. But that's when I find it most valuable to me, especially after worship. I'll be able to shut myself down, soak myself, because I don't know what honestly lies ahead of me. So
Right. Right. Yeah, Sunday is my day. Absolutely nothing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when we first was to meet up, I was gonna talk more about like the effects of the pandemic, but seeing that it's 2 years later and it's still going on, I'm gonna ask the same question. Um, how like what are ways that people can maintain sanity during this time? Because it looks like we're headed back. We're back. It seems like we're going backwards right now.
Yeah, we're actually going back to it honestly. And working in a hospital to see it actually firsthand is very serious. And I tell people all the time, this is the time to tap into your creative side.
Mm,
Everyone has it. Whether it's finding things to do, projects to do around the house. We got YouTube, we got Google, we got a lot of stuff that we didn't honestly have back in the day now to keep us occupied mindfully. Maybe literally doing some things that you honestly say that you put off, whether it's cleaning, whether it's spending time with your own self. This is the time where you can do your self-care, your self-love, finding time to organize yourself, so you have so many things that you can do to keep your mind occupied, and also develop your own craft and things that you wanted to do personally for your own self.
great, great advice. Because some of this stuff that has popped up in my life was thankfully to the pandemic. I know it's a bad situation, but I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can start a YouTube channel. Oh, I can do like,
Yeah, it was good and bad. It was good and bad.
yeah,
It's like it seemed like we're headed back down there to that route. So the fact that we already had a lesson, So now here comes the blessing in it, to where let's be prepared to, have that personal time, family time, some things, and even work on your own mental health.
right,
Are I see everything, like everything is toxicity now. So find out about your own self, what was toxic about you. These are the times we can work on our own self. You know what I'm saying? And so
right.
it's no one should not be busy. Even though you have your moment where you're bored. So if you're bored, work on yourself. Find out what's about you. Look into the mirror. This is the time where people goes through that self rejection, self abandonment, because I can't be around this person. I'm not around my girls. I'm not around my homies. This is the time to say, hey, I'm around me. And the fact that I'm around me, let me find out a little bit more about me. Let me find out what I really don't like. Let me find out what's more into me and my heart and my soul that I want to pour out, whether it's to other people, company, start something, So it's everybody got a purpose. So let's tap into it while we can.
You spoke a word there. You spoke a word there, and I saw a meme. I think it was beginning of this year for New Year's. Like instead of focusing on people who don't want to be in your circle or who doing this, who doing that, who like you, just revert all that
Mhm.
energy towards yourself because
That's
that's what's
it.
important. So
That is it. That is it.
yeah,
And that I've kept with me for years. I'm not I have some people that love me for who I am, and some people like, oh, she too loud. I tell people my motto is I'm a big girl who do big things. But and everything that I do is big, including the way I talk. So it's also go back to that self-love. If you love yourself, who cares she loud? If you love yourself, who cares she's small? If you love yourself, who cares if she's big? It does not matter. I shouldn't have no reason to talk about anybody else. And guess what? We all wake up with phones.
you right. You right. It's always that with the throwing rocks at a glass house. We all in glass houses.
Exactly. That's it. No, no one needs to talk about anybody, but yeah, this the time to literally do that self care, that self everything go back to.
Shop at Soap Bomb Tresses to fulfill your hair beauty needs as we bend 100% human hair in custom made wigs. We also provide all textures and lengths to bring out the bomb in you. To keep up with our latest products, sign up on our newsletter at soapbombtresses.com and follow us on IG at soapbombtresses or Burrito Bomb.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Miss Metchi, checking in, reminding you to shop my exclusive collection, Lavish Looks by Miss Metchi, where we've got shades and everything that you need to look fly. Oh, and we also offer accessories. So, ladies, put a little bit of razzle dazzle in your collection today. Be sure to shop with me and follow on social media at Lavish Looks by Miss Metchi. Grab your products today at missmetchi.com/shop.
Yeah, you can't escape you because everywhere you go, you're there. Right. Now I know earlier you spoke about you found out a gene that was in your family lineage, but you also mentioned that you actually start digging into your lineage for other things, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
That family history. I actually am in the process of writing a book about what's in your family.
Okay.
Because a lot of things that we was swept underneath the rug and things of don't nobody want to talk about because it may hurt somebody in the family. And even though I spoke on it, some people was ill about it. I shouldn't have said it. My thing is, if I'm able to save somebody else's life, I'm gonna talk about it.
Right.
I'm gonna talk about it, but that also comes from that learned pattern in families where what goes on in the family stay in the family, all of these stuff. So it was very, very personal to me, and I even did a group chat about it, Facebook, a page about it with my family and stuff like that. Some received, some didn't, some like all it is what it is, but it would never be personal until it hits your heart and your home and affects you.
Right.
And if I can save one person in my family, whether you make it bold statement about it or you text me and say, "Hey, thanks, cuz," I'm okay.
I like that. It's good to know the origin because just on a spiritual level, like we've inherited so many generations, curses and blessings, and sometimes we're away and we don't even know where it's coming from. And this is something that's not of our fault. We just inherited what's in our family. So it's good to know the origin of certain things, like why do this certain situation flow to me or why it repels me, so it is important to know your past, to understand your present, in my opinion.
Yep, you correct. That is it. I literally call it breaking generational curses because that's truly what it is.
Yeah, most definitely it is. I just found out because my maiden name is Vance, and of course I knew that wasn't my name, and my dad said it dates back to my great grandma. She ran off with, I don't know if this was a slave owner or not, or the slave owner's son, but she ran off with the white guy, and of course when she married him, hence that's my my last name or whatever. But it was good to know what I was before that, like I'm like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, give me that last name because maybe that'll help me trace a little bit further, because I know Betts is not, I couldn't go far with Betts because I tried, so it's some disadvantages sometimes being Black, trying to locate, your origin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I have questions like, did she willfully marry him? Like then you start thinking about, but apparently,
that's really
yeah. So I don't know. I'm like, but yeah, so I mean, and even with your childhood that you are aware of, you think back and you're just like, this person said something to me, or my mother would say now, like, how come you didn't say anything, or this and that. I'm like, because I was told what stays here, what happens here, stay here. So you follow those rules. I hear stories all the time about how the kid would try to say something if they have been like sexually assaulted and they weren't believed. Oh,
Yeah,
you just fast. So I deserved it?
right here,
Oh
right
wow.
here. Yeah. So that's why that mental health is very, 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 very important. And as I continue to dig, I understand certain things now because our parents got a past, honestly, that a lot of them never healed from.
Right.
And as parents, no one comes with a parental book. So it's like, let me take my pain and inflict it on my children. No, we parents has to stop that. None of us was asked to be born. Our parents weren't asked to be born.
Right.
But people have to understand, because all of us is born into sin, as the Bible say.
Right.
We never know whose sin are we literally born into. Are we born into our mother's sin? Are we born into our father's sin? Sometimes we're born into both parents' sins. And the fact that we are born into our parents' sin and we don't know whose sin we are born into is sometimes as coming up, and we are dealing with family issues of uncles touching the nieces and the parents, boyfriend and girl, either one could be molesting the children. We have to deal with that pain, because the first thing we are said, like you said, you fast. Ain't nobody touched you. Ain't nobody did this. And 9 out of 10, the fact that you wasn't believed is because they were touched.
You're right.
Because the cycle has to repeat the cycle.
That's
Who's
right.
gonna
And it's
cut
like,
it?
well, you're right. And it's like, well, I survived it and I didn't say anything. So why you gotta say something?
Exactly. Closed mouths. That's that sweeping underneath the rugs. Leave the sleeping dogs where they lay. Let the skeletons stay in the closet. No, this is why generationals now cannot deal with anything mentally. And that's why they're ready to go ahead and go through the depression to the point where they're taking. I've seen so many literally young people take their lives now in this generation than what it was when I was coming up. They were more overdosing than, versus, okay, yeah, let me just go and take the knife and just cut. Let me go ahead and just take me and my kids up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That is wrong. Because ain't nobody believing people. We don't know what goes behind closed doors. And when I tell you I'm a witness for that, y'all have to check my book out for that one. We don't know what goes on behind people closed doors.
You're
Because when
right.
our walk out, and when we walk out with them, we're mad. Because we can't talk about what happened last night. You better not open your mouth when you go to cousin's house or uncle house and Uncle Ray and Uncle Charlie and them and go over here to this family function. We was not able to talk.
Right.
A lot of behaviors come from that. They used to call me a problem child because of that. Did anybody sit down and ask me why I was the way I am? No. I just got to continue to get labeled because I didn't have nowhere for my behaviors and my feelings and my anger to go. And these are why the kids and the youth of today is dealing with so much stuff and can fall victim lies for the streets because ain't nobody listening to them.
You're right. Don't nobody have time because they trying to stay young.
That's it.
But where's our elders? We need our elders. Kids need us. Like
Yeah.
they need us. And you're right. I always wonder, like, what? How does a kid even know that they have the option to kill themselves? I don't even think. I mean, I was sad as a kid, but it never even crossed my mind as a kid that was an option.
Me neither. I was ready to whoop somebody's behind and throw things and bust windows. That's where my anger lied. I would never sit here and being in the mental health and learning psychology roles and everything is deep. Because people plant seeds in here.
You're right.
When people that you're not worthy of living, why are you here on this earth? Then you start thinking those things that people speak to you. And when the Bible tells us the mind is the devil's playground, it is. because that's when those negative thoughts become us and we start feeding and believing, and then guess what? We ready to check up out of here.
But you're right. If you think back, think back to Eve when she ate the fruit. God said, "Who told you this? I
Yes.
didn't tell you this. How you know that you was gonna get knowledge? Who told you this?" So you're right. All
Yeah.
it takes is a seed. All it takes is a seed, and it grows. All he has to do is give us one defeating thought, and it snowballs. Just one little
Snowball.
thought,
That's
one
it.
little doubt, and next thing you know, you just capable of everything.
That's it.
The mind will take you out.
Exactly. And that's why it's called mental health, because it's your own mind.
Yeah.
It's really staying free from, the negativity. That's why affirmations are so important. That's why self-care is so important. No matter who don't like it, no matter if you can't go and take, Uncle little people to the store today. You know what I'm saying? You have to shut your own self off, because your own thoughts can be the worst enemy of you. Your own thoughts.
Mm.
Literally, we got to deal with this. We got to deal with job. We got to deal with home life. We got to deal with some being a wife, some being a mother, some being caregiver, some, you have so many hats. That's why you have to shut yourself off. Because when you don't, that's when all these thoughts become racing thoughts. And guess what? You literally just like a hamster in your mind doing this.
Mm-hmm. I'm a witness.
So it's literally like, hey, I ain't heard from you in a couple of days. Don't be mad about it. Just check on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Okay, because everybody needs that shutdown time.
You're right. You are so right about this. You're speaking nothing but the truth. You are.
And when I tell you I've lived it, I've literally lived it, and learning from different things and watching other people that I have saw witness go through it. It was like, wow. Self-healing is that's a good thing. And people don't understand it is very valuable, and it's okay to self-heal.
It is. And it's okay to give yourself grace and time while you're in that process.
Yeah. It ain't no race, because I'm gonna go through a challenging time. I have to heal myself. That doesn't mean next week I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna have all of the good days and bad. I'm gonna have all of that, because we're human. But still allow yourself that time to be okay. And that's
Oh,
what people don't.
I love it. I love it. Here at BYOK, we have a staple question. And that question is, if you could describe
Oh
yourself,
Lord.
if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be and why?
Woo! Unique.
Okay, why?
Because they not ready for what I'm trying to do. Ooh. They not ready. They not ready. They not ready. I'm very unique, and the way I just present any and everything, anything that I do, I just learn to be unique.
Be
Anything. I
yourself.
literally just like your banner behind you. Be your own kind. I'm literally just I'm just different. I've always been that way. Literally.
And that's the best thing to be, is you.
That's it.
You
That's
can't
it.
be no one
Now,
better than yourself.
yes, I tell people all my person, and there's a meme too with it. My personality is me, because this is who I am. But my attitude just depends on how you treat me.
I like that. So tread light.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Because I could be cold, but I ain't gotta like. So
So besides the nationals and your book, anything else you got coming in the future that you want to share?
woo, I don't know if I need to release it.
We
Well,
can wait.
actually, just say I'm musically inclined. I have wrote for artists on the gospel level, R&B level, and now I am in the works of doing my own.
Mm.
I actually had a group, a quartet ministry called Chosen. Um, God is shifting things with that. I still want to literally do it, but in the time and the days that we're living in right now, I'm utilizing I call them spiritual songs. Through things that I've went through personally, dealing with ovarian cancer, mental health, I've been writing literally since I was like in 6th grade. And I went back and actually looked at some of the songs and things that I have wrote back then, and I wrote from a place of brokenness, because I didn't honestly have anybody to go to that would really understand me. So all of us was my pen and my paper. All the songs are not gospel songs, but I just want to literally put them out there to share with other people, even in your brokenness, that you can still be and be able to rise. So it's more like just like a different flavor. You got the gospel, you got the R&B, you got some soul on there. So it's like just a variety that I'm working on.
I love it. I can't wait.
It's a whole right now. Because unfortunately my producer that I was working with passed away from COVID September 3rd. So we were halfway through it. So right now I'm taking a break to mentally continue to deal with that. But it's something that I know he eventually wants me to still do. So I'm not just gonna, because me, I'm a type of person, I'll take a pause for the cause, but I am gonna pick it back up. So I'm just taking a pause for right now, getting through nationals, and literally the spring, summer, I will be back into the studio, handling the business. So hopefully, cross fingers, by August, my birthday, that is something that I'll be releasing along with the release of this longevity book of mine.
Yes.
So hopefully my prayers to have the combination of both.
Okay, cool. Ben, you got big things coming along, Queen Connie.
Yes, ma'am.
Such a beautiful spirit. I thank you so much for reaching out. I think you actually was on one of my lives. Like, you had commented on my lives. And
yes,
I don't know how we ended up being Facebook friends, but we've been friends for a minute on Facebook.
Yes, I don't even know. I think a while back, I think it was you had put out something about be your own kind, and it was like an ad or something like that. I can't remember. It was dealing with the pictures and the body positivity for the big girls and stuff. It was something on that. That's how it ended up. And I was loving the whole segment, loving everything that you was doing. I was like, okay, she is her own kind. Come on in. So
let me make sure.
I love it. Because I love, honestly, what people do and allow people to have that platform to share, and bring awareness of all kinds.
I love that. And I love your because you're my friend. I get to see the your glow up and everything, and I'm just loving everything about it, and just your openness and real transparency, because I feel like people throw words around all the time and it don't really be, but transparency is transparency. I am who I am no matter who's around,
That's it.
I don't have 50 million faces. So I feel like you're genuinely transparent, and I just thank you for sharing a piece of yourself today. Just the strength of going through what you've been through and still have a smile on your face and still have the need to empower others, because there's a flip side of that. People like you don't know the flip side of it because you're a giving person, but the flip side is bitterness. And it's just a blessing, to still go through and still have hope, still have faith, and still want to, empower others. So just keep doing what you're doing, Queen.
Ma'am, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yes. And listeners, I hope that you've grabbed something from this episode and learning the importance of your lineage, importance of your lineage and importance of your mental health, because in my mind, your mental health is the vehicle of everything else. Because I know I've had anxiety and my physical body shut down for something that I was mentally going through. So your mind is the vehicle for everything that you do or can't do or will do. So make sure that you nurture that just like you would nurture diabetes. Make sure you
Yep.
nurture your mind. It's still a thing that you need to nurture. So until next time, don't forget to be your own kind and be kind to each other. Bye.
Bye.